Okay, the recording has started.
Okay. Happy New Year again, everybody. This is the January 7th, 2026 e-NABLE Chapters meeting. This happens roughly once a month. And I don't know if we have any other chapter leaders. Jim and Tom, you are not yourselves chapter leaders, are you?
No,
I
sir.
am not a member of a chapter.
Okay. Nor are you a member of a chapter. Jim, remind me, where are you located?
Yeah, Long Island.
Long Island.
Yes.
I imagine there are some chapters on Long Island, most of them probably high school or elementary school kids, and you don't have to be a member of a chapter, but we have chapters
Right.
scattered all over the world. Um, I just want to continue a conversation we had during our town hall meeting about 3 minutes ago, and suggest that Jonathan or somebody else should perhaps write to Thierry, point out that we had the usability issues that we just had, um, but that we would, well, that's all. That's the place to begin and see if those usability issues
Yeah.
go away. Because it's a good modern website with a good system that might be the right way to go.
Okay. And get back to, something that was mentioned in the last meeting.
Yes.
Um, Purging and contacting people. Personally, I wouldn't know what should qualify to be purged. So, I didn't kind of raise my hand in volunteering for that. Um, any insight on that
Well,
or
yes, absolutely. Let me explain the situation.
okay.
So, do I still have that address? No, but I will.
Okay.
Let me share
Yeah.
my screen.
Okay.
I appreciate your offer, and let's see
And
if
yeah, understand that since the last meeting, which was the beginners meeting,
hmm,
I have since purchased a 3D printer. So I'm brand new. Maybe I have, between 15 and 20 hours of printing uh experience.
that's
And
great.
Congrats.
but my son has considerably more. He printed a bunch of stuff for his girlfriend, which
That's what they
that
do.
that's life. So that's where I'm at, and I would really like to try to get my badge for what is it, the Phoenix and the V3.
Yeah,
So and I had some questions about that. Obviously as a newbie, and let me know if I'm taking this too far out on a tangent.
keep going.
Um, okay. Okay. So, obviously there's a lot I don't know about infill, a lot I don't know about support, a lot I don't know about walls. Um, so I saw some of the videos that are attached to the V3, and the only thing they seem to uh focus on is just scaling it to one, say to 120%, which that I am able to do. Um, so I was kind of reluctant to start printing, parts of the V3 without actually understanding if, is this something that I can just take off of the website, the designs I take off of the website, and then just scale it to where I want it, and then just have it print, or is there anything else that I need to do? Uh,
No, I think that's basically the process. The Phoenix is one of our older designs. It's a good place to begin. Um,
yeah, and I have to thank Jonathan for that recommendation. So
yeah,
thank you.
downloading it, scaling it, and printing it,
Okay.
and then assembling it
Yes,
and
yes, of
testing
course.
it is the whole process. By
Okay.
the time you've done that, you'll have determined whether um, tying fishing line in knots is something you're willing to spend your time doing, and everything else.
Okay.
You're on um, the hero's journey.
Okay. Okay. And is this something? And then the final question is this something I would submit somewhere, assuming that I get the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
thing
So you
right,
want to, yes, indeed,
or
Jonathan, it's New Year's. It's a perfectly good time for you to review for Jim how our badging system works. And I have a call coming in, probably in anticipation of a doctor's meeting. So I'm going to go on mute while you give him the next introduction to the next stage of the hero's journey.
thank you.
Sounds good. Yeah, so uh right now is kind of a weird time because our like company that we are working with for the badging system recently switched to like a subscription based cost thing. So right now our badges are not working. So
Right.
basically anyone who isn't linked to their service already cannot be linked right now.
Okay.
So our system is broken right now, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
We do have our uh digital IT guy working on trying to like replicate the system so that we can like host it ourselves.
Okay.
Um
Yeah, well, the journey really is all about printing and assembling it.
mhm.
If I submit the videos and you guys say, hey, oh no, this looks okay, send it in or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm fine with that. I don't need a badge. I don't need I don't need a medal.
Yeah. So the badging is kind of a interesting thing. It's kind of like a digital accolade. So you don't need the badge to make
Okay.
devices for
Okay.
recipients.
Okay.
Um, I
I
think
thought that
most of
was
the
like a
time,
qualification.
That's right.
That's
yeah,
what I kind of thought.
yeah.
Okay,
Well,
great, great.
I
but
think
but it's
most of
an
the time, it's used in the educational type things. So like
I see.
if they have e-NABLE baked into their curriculum, they'll
I see.
require all of the students to make a hand and then submit for the badge.
I
And
see.
that's kind of their process. So
I see.
no, there's nothing that actually
Okay.
requires
Okay.
volunteers to get the badges.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. All
Mhm.
right. So I will start printing the points.
there you go. There you go. Uh, so was I not going to give you a little bit more briefing on?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so let me do that. And it's a chapter leaders meeting, but we don't have any chapter leaders, so it's a perfectly good use of our time.
Okay.
So I'm looking for, here we go. And I'll share my screen. And by the way, I have another meeting at 12:45, and there's a parallel conflicting meeting, so we can cut this short when we're ready. So,
Okay.
whoops, that's interesting. Wonder if Jeremy's been paying attention here. Is that the very same link I sent you a minute ago, I wonder? Okay, let's look at this one.
I got that error as well.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
here is an example, right? So,
Yeah, the link, he took down the link already.
well, and had you sent him a message, or does that mean
Yes,
that
yeah,
Jeremy?
I
Oh,
sent
okay.
him a message.
Okay, all right. Jeremy, if you're watching this, Happy New Year. If you're not watching it, Happy damn New Year anyway. So this one is in the forum, and if I look for Payne, you can see here that if your students, if you would like to send your hands to those in need for our underserved enabled chapters to be used in educating clinicians, please send them to Maria, but not really, but to Roger Payne, who did have a service for a while. But to our knowledge, this hasn't been true for a long time. So that's why I'm using his address as the flag,
okay.
Jim. And if you Google and you find places where this address is still used in this context, you
Right.
should try to write to the proprietors. Now, in this
Okay.
case, the proprietors are us. So this was created by Jeremy in August, and I think he probably just updated it then without realizing that it still contained that. So this is one that probably, well, maybe we can do it right here, right now. Let's just see. So here I am
Oh,
scrolling. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. Step
oh.
8, step 9. I'm just going to remove step 9.
Well, does it make reference to,
Hmm?
but I guess you'd have to go through it and see if it makes reference to, um, you know, sharing or sending what you make
Well, that's right.
any
That's
place
right.
else. Yeah.
Right. So here I am saving.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So
Okay, so the
there
whole
you
thing
go.
here. Okay, so the whole thing here has to do with Mr. Roger Payne. That
Robert.
is Robert. Okay.
Yep.
Um. Okay, Mr. Robert Payne, and making sure that all references to him collecting uh, or people being
Our
able to send him.
That's right.
Uh, okay. All right. So okay.
Okay.
So I guess yeah. All right. So the first thing I would do is log and exactly see how many um and see what the websites are. Okay.
That's right. In
Yeah.
fact, here's an improved search. I would start
Right.
by putting the address in quotes,
Right.
and then I would add the word enable.
I see.
And well, that narrows it down
Yeah.
considerably. Okay. And these, so now we just have some vestigial references on enabling the future.
Right.
So for that, I think that's still, oh no, that's on, those are on the hub. Okay. We're going to solve this problem right now, since I've just determined that I'm able to edit this. But Jim, they serve two who only sit and say, hey, can I help? Because you prodded me into doing it.
Okay.
Uh, and
Well,
let's look for pain
well,
again.
we
No,
have the time,
not
right?
here. We do. We do. Okay, I think that's the case I've already found. So I go back, the dashboard. I think that's just an aggregate of the previous messages. And here's another one.
Step
Okay,
8.
so I think they're all derived from the same thing I just fixed.
I see. Okay.
So so as far as we know, we have done it. And the next time someone says, hey, I saw that I can send my devices, we'll do another search and see where they're finding it.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right, and I'll just poke around and Google a few things
Sure.
just to
Okay,
okay. And then
great.
if I find anything, I'll log it and tell the group, and we'll move from there, I guess. Okay.
That's great. That's great.
Okay,
So,
so I'm sorry. It seems that I've kind of taken over the meeting, so I will stop here.
no, listen, you solved a problem. Listen, I'll remind you that 20 minutes ago, I said someone should write a small grant proposal to solve this problem, if I remember correctly. And
Right.
we saved the money and the time. We've gotten it done. Okay. Are there
Okay.
other useful things we should do on this first chapter leaders meeting of the new year?
So there's one I just want to schedule next month's chapter leaders meeting because
Okay.
there is a presenter. We talked about it last month. from an adaptive sports organization. You had suggested that she present during chapter
Sure.
leaders. It was too late for her to come on January 8th, but if we pick a Thursday in February and I tell her today, it will be able to
Okay.
happen.
All
So,
right. Well, here's February,
um,
and I would say take the 5th or the 19th.
okay. Um, I, great. I will give her those options and let you know which one she chooses.
Great.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, and just a question, is there another beginners meeting coming up?
Yeah,
I didn't
yes.
see one on the calendar.
Yes, there's an education and new members meeting on
Oh, okay.
Thursday, January 29th.
Oh, okay, I
And
see that. Okay.
this for the next few months, those meetings will not be at noon right after the town hall. They will be at 1 p.m. because of Ian's class schedule this semester. So,
Okay. All right, thank
yeah.
you.
So
All right, now I'll
January
stop.
29th, 1 p.m.
It remains to be seen, Jim.
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it. Okay. Other topics of conversation?
No.
Sarah and Jonathan, thanks for your initial help there. I reached out to that individual, Mr. Cole, to find out if he still needed that device. So up on that Web Central, Sarah, Jonathan, are you both the best ones to go to as far as if I've got questions about cases that are open, or is there a case manager? How's it supposed to?
Yeah, e-NABLE Web Central is not active, so a lot of cases show up on the hub and we take note of them and kind of mark them down, and I've been keeping track of those
Yeah,
cases,
we can
but
take a minute. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
My question is, I'm jumping over very quickly to visit my sick friend, but I'm going to be up in the Midlands. Is there any active cases that I could try to help out with while I'm there? If they're not,
in the Midlands,
yeah, middle part of
what do
England.
you
It's
um
central England.
no, no, not recently that I've
Not that we
seen.
know of. Now,
Okay.
Tom, there are several e-NABLE chapters in England. I don't know about the Midlands, but you should be aware of the unlimited people who continue to receive accolades from His Royal Highness and others recently. Um, they're quite a charming group. They've sort of become quite independent of us, but they're still part of the family. You should take a look at that. Look for Unlimited,
Thank
just
you.
to
Yeah, I did.
and
Okay.
um, there's also, I think, an Enable England, a nice gentleman who's met with us several times. I can't remember his name. Sarah may be able to do it, but those I think are the active English Enable related activities that I can think of.
Awesome. Okay.
And let me just review for a moment. Enable Web Central. In fact, let's take a moment, do this together. I'm sharing my screen. I'm venturing back into Enable Web Central. It's at enablewebcentral.com. It was originally intended to be a quite intensive case management system, and it just didn't work. As you know, that can happen a lot with developing websites. You design something, and it either takes or it doesn't. This one, despite a great deal of good work by Jeremy and his company and his people, did not work. It had a whole system here, and I haven't logged into it for several years.
That's why I discovered this past week, and I thought that was active. So I was doing a lot of work with that, and Jonathan was helping me. So if that's not the
Right,
place to go to, that makes sense.
right. So now the only question is whether my requests, my recipients, volunteering, browse cases. That, I think, was the way. Okay, so as you can see, if we scroll, okay, look, so there's been very little activity here, but not zero. So these are people who have registered in the last year. it would be worth trying to reach out to these people if there's a way of doing it. And there is. Okay, so these are early days. These are people who are asking for devices. There's handsome Derek and his handsome dog saying, I would like a device. Hopefully, he found his way to the hub and got what he needed. There's no evidence that he got it from Enable Web Central, and there's no evidence that Enable Web Central should still be online and misleading people. Let's send Jonathan another note to Jeremy, saying Happy New Year. During the chapter leaders meeting, we decided that it was probably a good time to just take Enable Web Central offline and have the URL redirect to the hub. Do you agree, Jonathan?
I do agree. The only caveat that I have is to make sure that we're all on the same page and release maybe some sort of mass email or something explaining that we're doing this.
Exactly right.
I know with Free 3D Hands, their recent explosion in device requests, that's how they are intending on organizing them, is having them, the recipients, request through Enable Web Central.
Isn't that
So
interesting?
there are still people pointing in that direction. And
That's a great observation. And I think a good opportunity to try to catch up with Free 3D Hands.
Mhm.
So if you forward me the email or the communication in which they proposed that, maybe it's a hub post, I will follow up and just try to get this a little bit further clarified.
Sure. Okay. But yeah,
Okay.
so I'm listed as an admin or a facilitator or whatever on Enable Web Central. So
Cool.
I get a little bit different view on some of this stuff. I have like this facilitation tag
Yeah.
where I can actually see the last activity on cases, and you can see there's 11 pages here. Some of them go back,
Thousands of days.
years. So we do have Rokaya, I think is how you pronounce it, has been trying to follow up with some of these cases once they get neglected, just like facilitating, hey, did you get a hand? Is it working great? Do you need feedback? Do you need somebody to
Right.
help facilitate communication, stuff like that? I've tried to do it too, but most of these cases, it's stuff like there's no activity at all because they don't
Right.
upload any photos or anything like that. So
Well, you're
I think
right. So
that's
we
kind of
don't
where
want, okay, I completely agree. And
I think that's where the failure with EWC comes from, is you have somebody describe their demand, their need, but then they don't have photos, nobody signs up
that's
for
right.
it. There's just no, it doesn't go anywhere.
Okay. So we don't want to pull the plug when there are a few people who are still planning to use the system. But I think we should figure out who those people are. One of them is 3D Hands, and the others would be people who, you know, had activity in the last 30 days or so, 90 days, say, and check on their cases, see how we can help, and advise them that Enable Web Central is not the way for them to pursue their projects. And then we pull the plug.
A question for you. Me being new and getting up to speed on things, is there
Yes.
a generic place to go to with a boilerplate to explain the process? Is it the because when I type in e-NABLE, it kind of sends me to two places. I get the one website with a little girl with the chalk on the sidewalk, and then also this dashboard area. It seems like it's a little confusing as far as where to go, and then is it simply explain what the process is to request a device?
Yeah, it is confusing. It's been a problem for many years. I don't know if we're going to fix it this year. The story is that enabling the future has been the outward-facing website from the beginning of time. It was created, lovingly maintained by Jen Owen, but she has moved on. It's still quite a good advertisement for the e-NABLE vision, but it also does include a great deal of how-to information, which frankly is redundant and obsolete from what was on the hub. What is now actively working on the hub, to the extent that stuff is working on the hub, which, as you know, is substantially better than nothing, but not perfect by a long shot.
Rather than oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We've talked about simply taking it down. We've talked about simply having that address redirect to the hub. But the hub is a fairly maker-oriented site.
Mhm.
The reason I was looking at e-NABLE 360, the French site, is because they did a fairly recent, significant redesign, and they do a perfectly good job of communicating to the outside world what e-NABLE is all about. It's hard to do this well, and it's hard to do it right, especially in a network of volunteers. And so that's sort of why we're now in this fairly stable, fairly confusing situation.
Instead of shutting it down, could you put maybe a splash page up that says, if this is a new request, click here. If this is an older request or resubmittal, click here, and then it'll take them
Yes, and
to
the
the
other, that's a great idea. The other thing we might do, and when you say shutting it down, you mean e-NABLE Web Central, we could simply
right.
prevent new
New,
registrations.
right.
That would probably require some coding, and the coders have long since departed.
Mm,
This is, but it may not be impossible.
right.
It might be possible to break the registration page without redesigning the whole thing.
Right.
And Jonathan, I think that is, no, but that also speaks to the whole question of if Free 3D Hands is currently advertising that they're going to use e-NABLE Web Central, we don't want to do that yet either without coordinating with them. So I think Jonathan has identified the critical, that's the word I'm looking for, the critical prerequisite to action here, which is to touch base with Matt Botel at Free 3D Hands and point out that e-NABLE Web Central should not be the cornerstone of his new initiative. And if Jonathan gives me a few hints and possibly a few kicks in the pants, I will pursue that. Any other live topics for the moment? Okay. I'm prepared to say Happy New Year for the third time and farewell.
One more thing. I guess I'm like Columbo or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
In the videos, it did say that if you use PLA, there's a possibility of warping if it's in a hot car. Should I be concerned with that?
Not at this stage. If you're dealing with a recipient, it's worth thinking about.
Sure.
But for where you're at now, not at all.
Okay, thank you. All right, now I'm done.
All right.
Thank you. And
as I may have mentioned, Happy New Year. Farewell. And
Okay.
thank you.
Happy New
Bye.
Year.